everything that's happening starts with that First Amendment. Everything that's falling apart right now in the US starts with the First Amendment. And if we don't understand how to interpret it as it pertains to Twitter, then we can't understand what the problems are elsewhere. And I'm going to show you my big takeaway of Twitter Files 6, just big picture. And then also, there's a new policy, and people's reaction to the new policy shows me that we still have a lot to kind of learn, and we don't even know how to absorb the Twitter Files information. And here we go. This is, I'm going to start with, I'm going to get to that. That's the new policy. I'm going to get to that in a second. But here's Twitter Files 6, basically. And Twitter File 6 is the basic overrun is the tangible proof of the government, because that wasn't in the first Twitter files. And there was speculation that anti-friend of show, Jim Baker, was involved with that, potentially, filtering that out. Now we have some of the details, the receipts from that. Matt Taibbi reports, hello, Twitter contacts. The master canine quality of the FBI's relationship to Twitter comes through in this email in which FBI San Francisco is notifying you it wants action on 4 accounts. And these are not even high view accounts. I think there's something else here. I don't know if it's IP addresses, people using a burner account. I don't think that I could be wrong. I don't think FBI is going after low visibility accounts. I think there's something else there. They might know of some type of impact. They might have some type of calculation, or they're using location to figure out you're working with this person. I think there's something more to that. But if there's not, it is pretty crazy, because I don't know that for sure. But it's proof. There's the email. FBI San Francisco is notifying you of the accounts. Listen to the verbiage. Very important. Which may. So they know what they're doing is wrong. It's almost like a boss telling a subordinate, you sure you did that report right? You might have missed something there. If that's coming from your boss, and that is the relationship, that's how Matt Taibbi called it. Basically, this is very, very harsh language. The master canine quality, meaning you're the master, the dog is the subservient one. And they say, you know what? Your boss says, you know what? I don't think you really cleaned up the kitchen. You may have missed a spot. You're going to go back and look for the spot, or you're going to say, boss, what did I miss? The boss tells you what to do. The FBI it's not technically a boss relationship, but they're part, obviously, of the administrative state. This wasn't done under like direct. I don't think there was a direct, initiative put forth by. This one was under Biden, but whether it was Biden or Trump, this is stuff that happened. These are the gears of the government from the Time article that happened under the surface. So they know what to do. And so they said, well, this may potentially constitute violations of your own terms of service. This is the part of the government that if you don't listen to them, the legislative administrative state will get bills pushed to people like Klobuchar, Elizabeth Warren, and then they will break up potentially or do some law that will take away power from the company and give it more to the government. So that you can't, there is no, hey, happy birthday. I think that was one of the things here. Oh, this was an innocuous email. Happy birthday, Yoel, or whoever they were talking about. There is no such thing as an innocuous communication between FBI or any type of government, especially law enforcement agency, and what you would call a private company. We'll get to that in a second, because obviously it is not. So when you go down here more, there's more receipts. I found this interesting, that they were going after the network, the RSBN network. So they had some comments on here. They had RSBN network on a list of accounts that they wanted to have a look at. This was an agent from the FBI. Now, the FBI says, which we believe may be violating your terms of service to cover themselves. Here's the argument from Ted Lieu, who is an establishment shill, one of the terrible politicians that we have of our time. He says, in response to this, Elon, Simple answer. Have you tried reading the FBI's mission saying that, hey, there's nothing, it's always been going on? From 2017, the FBI considers strategic engagement with U.S. technology companies, including threat indicator sharing, to be important in combating foreign influence actors. After the Dandada 2016, we blame it on this country, and then we do these things very similar to 9/11 and the Patriot Act. So Ted Lieu is saying, we already had this in place. There's nothing new here. Why can he say that? Because one, he's considering Twitter as a private company. Two, he's saying the FBI just said, hey, we might be seeing something. They never said directly, you have to do this or else. That wasn't an accident. Let me take you to the new policy. Hold that thought. I'm going to come right back to it. Here's the new anti-speech policy from Elon Musk. He's just doing anti-speech after anti-free speech after anti-free speech. I tweeted that I think Elon Musk's definition of free speech is like Dylan Mulvaney's definition of a woman and Dr. Fauci's definition of a V. It's the same warped perception. He believes he's still doing it in his head, I think. What is a violation of this policy? This is a new policy. At both the tweet and account level, we will remove any free promotion of prohibited third-party social media platforms, such as linking out using the URLs to any of the below platforms on Twitter or providing your handle without a URL. So they just arbitrarily picked these one. Facebook, well, there's a reason why. Facebook, Instagram, Mastodon, Truth Social, Tribal, Post, and Nostr. Third-party social media link aggregators as well, Linktree, Link Bio. And also, if you say, follow me on Twitter, if you say this now there's also a qualification for main purpose, so wait for a second before you judge. Follow me at username on Instagram, not allowed in this certain scenario. Username at mastodon.social, not allowed. Check out my profile on Facebook, facebook.com username, not allowed. But here's the qualification: accounts that are used for the main purpose of promoting content on another social platform may be suspended. So what he's doing is really chilling free speech. He didn't put Rumble in there, which I found that was interesting. But if you want to promote your Instagram, I don't use Instagram a lot. Maybe I should promote it more on Twitter. I'm not even really going to be doing it because I don't know what the definition of, he's saying it's only for accounts that are used for the main purpose of. So what this is probably addressing is he has changed the Twitter platform in a way that has pissed off certain people. And so those people have gone to Mastodon and these other sites, and they're getting a lot of followers there. I've seen like Dan Rather and others. So what they're doing is leaving their Twitter account active. Instead of just leaving it inactive or deleting it, they're leaving it active. They're on the other platform. And then every day or every once in a while, they'll open up the Twitter account and say, hey, hi, everybody. Remember, I'm over here. There's the same type of thing. Truth was on that banned list. I didn't see Getter on there. It's specific. It's very interesting how he chose specific ones. So Trump can't go on Twitter and do it every tweet to say, hey, go to Truth. I don't know what Elon used this verbiage that said main purpose. There's no definition of it that I've seen. If you know, let me know. I haven't seen that. So what does that mean? I don't know what mean. Is it 50%? Is it 25%? Or is it whatever? Is there a percentage? Is it just a feeling, a thought? So it's obviously an anti-speech, whatever you care about it. That's an anti-speech move. If you have free speech, you have no problem with somebody promoting something else. Here's where Elon Musk really did some really good stuff here. He's amazing, man. Elon Musk is really amazing. So what he did, before I get to my takeaway, which is going to take this off of Twitter to why it's a bigger issue. So what he did was, now he has conservatives, because I tweeted my thoughts like, are you guys feeling me now? Elon's definition of free speech is just ridiculous. Whatever you care about the policy, it's obviously anti-free speech. And a bunch of conservatives, people who are saying, ooh, the Twitter files broke big news, they're saying, no, it's fine. You can't go into Walmart with cards for Target and promote what's being sold at Target. So that's basically the private company argument. So do you see how smooth-brained that is? Because if Twitter is a private company now, then it was a private company then. And so you would agree with Ted Lieu then there's nothing. The Twitter files are not relevant unless you agree with me that Twitter is not a private company. If you think Twitter was a private company during the Twitter files age, and it is still now, but let's just talk about the Twitter files age. If you think Twitter was a private company, then it doesn't matter. The FBI didn't do anything. It's in their program. They didn't do anything wrong. They didn't tell them to do anything. They said, oh, you know what? This might have been. This may have been. So that's why my argument is so important to say, whoa. It's not. See, it's in the link there. The FBI considers strategic engagement. They've already done that. So the only way the Twitter files mean anything is if you go down my route. If you like me or not, or disagree or not, I'm sorry. That's the only way it makes sense is if you say the moment the FBI reaches out, obviously that disqualifies Twitter as being a private company. Now it is an agent of the government. There is no, you might have had your shoelaces untied, and then you play it. Oh, you might have, you know what? This user on your platform, I really think they violated a policy. Twitter didn't push back on anything that we've seen so far yet. So if you think it's a private company, Twitter files are perfectly fine, perfectly legal. There is no violation of the First Amendment. You have to go down the path that I'm saying is, as soon as they did that, now it becomes a government actor. And then now I am protected free speech wise under that. Obviously you're still protected because we don't know. Number one, we don't know if Elon's still working with the FBI or not. He could be. And when you're in that scenario, you can never define that company. If that's a possibility, and it's a town square, public town square, that company could never be considered private, or you can squash First Amendment rights. So that's a very interesting thing. And here's the final takeaway. The final takeaway is the legality of a lot of this. And it applies to the border as well and everything. So if you look at the border, this was from a few days ago. Bill Melgwin says breaking enormous mass of hundreds of migrants have just crossed illegally into El Paso. So this is a video showing it. They're crossing in. They're anticipating the end of Title 42, which is going to let them come on in a lot more. El Paso has declared a state of emergency for their city. And if you look at it, this is interesting. Before this mass of migrants crossed, Mexican police escorted nearly 20. So this is coordinated. The Mexican police, before they came into the U.S., escorted nearly 20 buses full of migrants to Ciudad Juarez, the Mexico City across from El Paso, and released them at multiple NGOs. What is an NGO? It's basically, NGO stands for non-governmental organization. It's basically Twitter to the border. The government can't do what they're doing here, so they fund this. Now they fund money to these NGOs, and the NGOs do their dirty work. That's exactly what Twitter was doing. So they released them at multiple their organizations that basically they're saying the same argument that you would say Twitter's a private company. NGO means we're a non-government organization. That's my argument. Twitter is an NGO. Because people are confused, like, oh, it was publicly traded. That's not what I'm talking about. It's a private. All companies are private in that sense, where I'm saying they're separate from the government, basically. So maybe NGO is a better way to describe it. I think Twitter, because it's confused now, it's privately. There's still shares of Twitter, but it's privately owned. And when it was publicly owned, that's not what I'm talking about. Twitter was an NGO, a non-government organization. Same here. They dropped them off. Mexican police dropped them off at a non-government organization. The migrants then walked from the NGOs to the river and crossed illegally into El Paso. And people were replying, oh, I wonder how they were coming with cell phones and other things. That's how. They're going to these non-government organizations and getting all this stuff, and the government is tacitly supporting it, and they're crossing the border. The government can't do that directly. That would be a complete violation of probably federal law. I don't know about the Constitution, but definitely federal law. And you see that happen. I said, which NGOs? Did somebody reply to me? World Church Services. Okay, thank you. Catholic Charities, every one of them that can make a buck. Great, thank you for replying to that. That was from a few days ago and I missed it. But it's the exact same thing they did with Twitter to violate the First Amendment, and who knows what other, I'm not a lawyer, what other rights, same thing they're doing with immigration. That's why it's important. I hope everybody's not burned out on the topic, but I did get feedback from some people, and hey, take a break, go, I appreciate the time we've spent if you're burned out by it, but I'm just getting started. With the issues with the process of, I don't even say the E word on this channel. That's how crazy things are. The process that we choose people to run our country, that's corrupted. Why? Because of the First Amendment. The First Amendment is more important than fixing the process of that corrupt process. We can't fix the process of the corruption if we can't talk about it. And then on top of that, we have a state-sponsored religion, which is it's in the First Amendment. It's very easy. You can't bring people to prominence based on a state-sponsored religion, but we have that too. So as far as the First Amendment goes, Twitter's the perfect example to spawn out to the other problems, whether it's the process of electing or immigration or whatever else. But that's the number one thing. And it's ironic. The only prominent politician that had any type of meaningful take on this, the First Amendment and big tech over the last week, wait for it, there's only one person who's had a meaningful, now he didn't have an interview, but a meaningful statement on this. Rokana did an interview with Barry Weiss, but a meaningful statement. Rokana had nothing meaningful to say. Wait for it, the only person was, man, we never gonna let that guy go. 45. Let me know what you think. Take care. If you want to help the channel, there's a lot of ways you can, from super thanks to spreading the word, sharing, providing feedbacks and comments, and liking the videos. But you can also go to middlemaga.com. I've got some blogs up there with some links you might find helpful for these topics, and then videos from Rumble, which is popping off. And I'm really going to be trying to do maybe more stuff. I'm thinking about, I just saw Tekashi 69. Tekashi 69 created a Rumble channel. It has the green check mark. I believe it's legit. People are going to Rumble. He's a non-political. If you don't know, he's a hip-hop artist. Will bring more eyes to the platform. Yay, that's where you need to go. But I'm trying to, it's hard because YouTube has been my primary the whole time. I'm shifting over now to thinking Rumble's my primary, YouTube's my secondary. I'm trying to make that mental switch. But the point I'm bringing that up for is if you go to middlemaga.com, you'll see I'll put anything that's Rumble only or uncensored on Rumble on here. You'll see my most recent videos, and you can also help by going to the shop.